Hey, you all. I want to go over something. So I called some churches today to just try to find out if they knew or could answer any questions that I was asking about the changes. And the one lady, she hung up on me. Like, I had talked to her and she hung up on me. And then I had talked to another man, and he's like, well, this starts a heated conversation. And I explained, no, I'm not trying to have a heated conversation. I just wanted an honest answer if he knew what Bible in the King James, like if there was a different King James versions where trespasses would be, or the lion and the lamb, and he said that he, in his Bible it did, but then he didn't get it out and read it. So, instead of trying to make him mad, because it seemed like he got mad when I asked, I just sincerely said I apologized for wasting his time. Well, while I did and I hung up, here comes a preacher. And he walks up, and I was talking to him. And I said, can I ask you a question? And so he talked, and he said, yeah. And I said, do you know where it's stated about the lion and the lamb laying down together? He says, yeah. And I said, well, why would it say the wolf will dwell with the lamb? And he said, well, people do make updated versions. I said, well, I do have an old King James version. This isn't something that was new. I haven't bought one. This was something that was handed down. I said, but I also had a question, where that could be found. And he said he would look at it when he got home, and that he would be back Saturday to give me that information. And then also I asked him about trespasses. I said, in our Lord's Prayer, I said it said trespasses. I said, but it says debtors now. He said, well, there's two Lord's Prayers. He said, and in one it says debtors, and then the other one says trespasses. I said, but mine says, one says debtors, and then the other one says sinners. I said, so I'm just trying to find out what has happened. I said, because and I'm not trying to have no heated debate, so I got nipped that in the bud if he thought that. I said, I'm just sincerely just trying to find some answers, because whenever I talk to somebody or somebody else talks to somebody, it seems like we get the cold shoulder, or they get really mad. I said, do you remember where God said he would send a strong delusion, that whoever should believe the lie? And he said, oh yeah, that's when tribulation starts. And I said, oh, okay. So, I was getting the answers. And so then I asked something else, and I said, when tribulation starts, I said, what will happen? He said, well, God's people will be raptured, because they'll be under the earth, and then they're going to go onto another earth. Now, I didn't tell him to say anything. I didn't say nothing about moving. He said they'll go from under earth to another land where tribulations will start. And I said, really? I found that really interesting, because, nobody has ever said that. And he wanted me to come to his church. And I told him that I haven't been to a church in a long while, and that I told him that I might think about it. But he said that he would definitely look up about the lion and the lamb, which he believes is in Revelations. And I explained to him, I said, I don't think it's in Revelations. I said, but it could be. And he said, and I also asked him about the trespasses. I said, could you please, whatever King James version that you have, would you please let me know? Because I would really be interested in finding what King James version has trespasses. And he said, well, King James version should never change. And I know that. And I said, when God said that he would set this strong delusion, I said, what will happen to the ones that don't believe what God's words are? And he didn't respond. He just kind of just stood there like he didn't know. And and he said, and when the lion comes back, that means that there will be peace, like it will be the year of the millennium. He said, but before the year of the millennium happens, God's people will have to go through trials and tribulations. which means like we're going to see the plagues. We're going to see the famine. We're going to see all of that happen. And I said, okay. And I said, will there be like war here? And he didn't say. So, you know, he'll be back Saturday, you all. So I'll get more questions. I just thought, you know, I wanted to bring that to y'all's attention because, you know, I was getting them run around. I was calling people, no answer. And then the one lady, I asked her, and she got really smart. Like, she was really smart. She's like, I can't hear you, real rude. And so I spoke up a little louder, and she says, what? And she hung up. So then I called another person, and then they thought that I was getting into a heated debate, and I wasn't doing that. I was just wanting to know, and you know, this man had assured me that the King James Version does not change either. And I said, well, how long ago do you think that they would have changed the lion laying down with the lamb? He said, oh, that was a real old King James. That hasn't been around in a long time. Well, how long ago are we talking? You know, that's what I was thinking. I was like, well, you know, I have a Bible that's pretty old. I said, I haven't got nothing new. This is something that was handed down from the family. And he said, well, my Bible still says it, but he would not acknowledge to open it and read it. And I was not going to press him because I guess he thought I wanted conflict, and I did not in any way address conflict at all. Anyway, so God did something better. He sent me a preacher to my door. So I guess you can't get it no better than that, y'all. But he'll be back Saturday to talk with me because he said he's going to look in there to find where trespasses is. Now, when he doesn't find it, then we'll discuss that, because I hope he doesn't make an excuse of, oh, well, maybe it was debtors or maybe it was sinners. You know, I hope that he actually says something that most of us need to hear. Yeah, something's wrong. Well, because we all know something's wrong. And we know that God has allowed the changes. But to hear his opinion on this would be great. Anyway, that's it for now, you all. Much love.